Hello, my name is Angelica Rimoldi, and the project is called Gradient of the Earth. Gradient of the Earth proposes a new housing scheme that wants to be an alternative to the way we live, as much as a universal prototype that encourages us to reflect on the stagnation of our contemporary living and the impossibility of separating what we, instead, conceive as opposed and disconnected, the man-made and the natural, the clean and the dirty, an excavation site far away from the city, and a built tower in a dense urban center. The project aims to highlight the fact that the disconnection between these extremes is an illusion, and that, differently, these elements belong to one single spectrum and are part of one same process. This is done by bringing people through a journey, from the process of construction to the life of two buildings in constant dialogue, the whole and the tower. Earth is not a line. The concept of Earth as ground line is broken. Earth is depth, strata, and humidity. Earth is smell. Earth is temporality and instability. Earth is displacement and process. This artwork from Monoha artist Nobuo Sekine, called Phase Mother Earth, speaks about action and process in its complete stillness. It appears clear the artist's underlining statement that one couldn't be there without the other. Also, the process of construction is itself a lived architecture, and the domestic space is a direct result of that process. Material displacement is explained by the example of Matera, a city in Italy, where the material carved out from the cave is used both for capping the cave and for building extension to the rock. This different materiality brings about another kind of domesticity, seen in examples of Chinese Yadong sunken houses, of Matmata in Tunisia, and of a Buddhist monastery in India. Today, a similar level of intimacy and materiality can be made possible with a technique called cast earth. In the mix is soil, water, calcium gypsum, and a set retarder. This opens up possibilities of building at a fast rate. The Hole and the Tower. Cromer, a coastal town in Norfolk, UK, is taken as a testing ground for the project. Phase, Mother Earth, becomes the main conceptual reference throughout the work. The process itself is the first instance in the project where two elements apparently unrelated and in contrast to each other, the man-made and the more natural, are no longer opposed, but part of one same process. After driving sheet piles in the ground, the soil is excavated and used for the building above ground. The hole, resulting from soil extraction, is inhabited, and the tower, made with that same soil, lived in. In plan, the result of such a process has inverted our preconceptions. At the top, the building underground. At the bottom, the one above ground. The low tower above, exploiting the qualities of cast earth, behaves as a carved underground building. The thickness of its walls are inhabited, while the building underground is unexpectedly rigid and clean in its architecture, coming out from the process of construction that requires sheet piles to retain the soil. The second instance of that dialectic relationship between elements is seen in the materiality of these buildings. Building A, the Earth Low Tower. The cast earth space upstairs is designed according to the objects and people activities. Two very different conditions are created. The walls as intimate niches become living spaces, where the relationship between the individual and the object is enhanced. As a result, a free space is formed in the middle of the room, creating two different conditions, architecturally and socially. The clean to dirty spectrum, or the man-made to natural spectrum, reappears here at the scale of the object, whereas backsplash, a veneer of transparent resin, is a thin, shiny layer on top of the cast earth wall. Building B, the metal hole. The space below ground, for sleeping only, speaks a completely different language. In this case, the water strip of the bathroom is moved to the entrance, which becomes the moment where preconceptions of a clean interior and dirty exterior are broken. Water. Matera, as a case study, is a wonderful example of water ecosystem across different scales, that goes from larger water collection tanks to the intermediate scale of the neighborhoods to the households. Water has an important social role as well. Back to Norfolk, a similar approach is adopted, starting from landscape scale, the coast, and narrowing it down to reaching the smaller scale of the housing unit in a system of water tanks and filtration ponds as a connecting thread. An overview in plan cutting through levels from -10 meters to -5 meters to the ground floor, where water allows a usually hidden process to become visible. Way of life. Inhabiting the earth, unlike living as we normally do above ground, has forced a clear separation between two different kinds of spaces: the nucleus of the family, private family units, and the more public communal space, central courtyard. The split between social functions, designed by the project, thanks also to the properties of the earth, wants to provoke a status quo and bringing a more flexible way of living, by which we are no longer going to have a 1, 2, or 3 bedroom flat, but the relationship between single bedrooms and more communal living spaces is available on multiple scales and can be reconfigured more freely. The rental system is split into sleeping units and living spaces. Tenants have one sleeping underground unit each and can have their living space upstairs by themselves or share with others, making up a flat split across two buildings. They are experienced as almost two extremes, but functioning as one interconnected space. In this scheme, the central garden receives importance as a space for the community, linking the two different spaces in dialogue of sleeping and living. I now invite you to move through gradients of the earth from metal to soil. Thank you very much for watching.